What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new episode of Ravenrock FinTech channel. Okay, so today what we're talking about is Bitcoin. So a lot of people have been asking me about the really basic concept of Bitcoin. So today I'm going to share a little bit of my insight of Bitcoin as well. So before I move on to the main content, please subscribe my WeChat Twitter page. I started a Twitter account, so hope you guys can follow me on Twitter as well, because I'm just beginning to posting kind of Twitter. So I hope you guys can help me spread a little bit of different financial and useful tips and concepts. So maybe to your loved one, so you guys can actually learn a lot and invest in yourself and make your life better, right? So Bitcoin right now is trading below $50,000. So right now it's trading at for like $48,000. So because like last month I've been saying if you look at Elon Musk, you look at his Twitter account, and also if you look at the Tesla financial statements, the last quarter one, so you actually see that there is a quarter of their revenue and profit of Tesla is generated through Elon Musk selling his personal stake of Bitcoin. That means one of the biggest insider of cryptocurrency is selling off his Bitcoins. So why don't you sell your Bitcoin? That's that's a $1 trillion question, right? A lot of people, you're not selling it, even though they're seeing Elon Musk dumping a lot of Bitcoins. You see, so this is basically what happened inside of Bitcoin trading. So that's what happened to Bitcoin now, but we want to know about what is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency, and it is a decentralized blockchain-based network. We all heard of blockchain this, blockchain that, and the word blockchain has becoming really fancy word. It's a really super complicated word that no one actually knows about. Right, so I'm going to break down those complicated concepts so any of you can understand. So basically, Bitcoin, imagine is like a virtual currency. So why do we create such a currency? Because banks can be annoying, right? Like if we know about the financial system, that we know central banks provide the most of the money, right? Central banks create the money and inject the money to the commercial bank. So the commercial bank lends those reserves, lends those money, and directly as loan to corporations and big companies, factories, and institutions. So people get paid because they are hired by these institutions and also corporations. So that means central bank has a dictatorship, and it gets to decide who gets the most of the money, right? Because the central bank basically controls the monetary supply. And also, the bank as an intermediary between different parties, the bank has absolute supremacy. It has absolute power of dominating each of your transactions. Say, if we trade, we all go to ATM machine, right? Every time when we withdraw our money, maybe our assets, every time when we make maybe a transaction, the bank, monitor each of our trade, and then they kind of steal a little bit of money from each of our trading as commission, right? And also, if you have done something wrong and you have maybe dictators chasing after you, and then trying to freeze your bank account, trying to freeze your assets. So what would happen is that your accounts would end up being froze. You're not being able to withdraw any amount of money out of ATM machine anymore. That means the end of your life, right? That means you're basically ruined. No one wants to be your wife, because you are being froze, right? You're being pursued by RS. I don't know who, but you're pretty much stuck, right? So to avoid these dictatorship, these monarchy, Bitcoin was being created by Satoshi Nakamoto to avoid this scenario, so people can transact their assets away from the bank, but in the same time, their crypto address will keep their identity hidden. So the bank of whatsoever, it's very difficult to find out. It's nearly impossible to find out a long code, right? There's a really long line of number, which is the wallet address of Bitcoin. That means you, but the bank would require maybe passport photo, maybe another identification to know who you are. But in the Bitcoin system, it's nearly impossible to know who you are, right? Because you did not upload or did not submit your passport and your photos to any institution. So there's no records at all. So you're basically a wallet with a very long line of numbers, maybe like 15 to 60 numbers, and your identity is perfectly sealed. So the bank cannot froze your account. They cannot bring any censorship to you, right? At the same time, you can use Bitcoin. Maybe you can pay someone with Bitcoin, and then you pay to your second account, and then that's a little bit of money laundering. So I'm not going to a lot of detail because I'm going to make another video explaining why and how Bitcoin is mostly used by via all these money laundering schemings. So Bitcoin is created as a decentralized digital currency. As I have explained before, the definition of decentralization actually means having banks away from these, keeping the banks away from your transaction, right? So that is the entire process. So what is Bitcoin though? Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency that protects individual from the bank and also the central bank. So people can pay and transact without their disturbance. Okay, I think that's a very easy to understand kind of concept. So if we look at Bitcoin, we have to understand about blockchain, because blockchain is a technology that's created because like Bitcoin. If you create Bitcoin, that means you need a mechanism that's able to protect each of your transactions. That's going to write down each of the record history, in the same time protecting your assets, right? So not in the traditional sense of finance, when central bank create those credit, we call it as money, right? They created money out thin air, so they could easily alter that number. The Federal Reserve always do that. They always alter that number. Maybe they increase the amount of monetary supply, and then the currency became devalued, right? So that's the entire concept of Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is being frequently quoted as digital gold. The reason of that is that Bitcoin has a certain limit, so it has a limit supply of that Bitcoin. So it's imagine as a gold mine, right? Each one of them has to go mining for some gold, so that the gold itself has a limit, and that limit gives gold a scarcity, a value of scarcity. So people will actually think that, oh, the gold is because the gold is scarce. So that's why gold is valuable. That gives, Bitcoin certain value, right? So in this sense, Bitcoin is like a gold, right? It should be mined. It should be mined through the miners and then transact to the open market, and and these amounts of gold cannot be altered by any third party, right? For example, if central bank is altering the M2, right? So you have more money in the system, you have less purchase power with your currency, right? If the central bank prints more money, you get to pay less. Your money become less valuable, right? You go to the street, you buy a burger, you pay like $2 for a cheeseburger. Now you can, now you have to pay $3 for a cheeseburger, right? That's a meaning of like the purchase power decrease, because you used to pay $2 for a cheeseburger. Right now you have to pay for $3, right? So that is the reason why you have like Bitcoin. So third party could not whatsoever change that bank history, change their transactions, change the supply, the monetary supply. So you need to have a blockchain system, right? So it's like, imagine what is blockchain. Block is basically like a ledger, right? In ledger, for example, it's like a balance sheet, right? It's like a ledger. So in accounting, right? I used to learn accounting. So a ledger means, like you have an accounting book. Like for example, you're A, you have an accounting book, right? So you have your own accounting book, and B has his own accounting book. So blockchain is basically, like synchronize all these accounting books and records, right? Synchronize all of it, right? A, B, C, D. Maybe you have 1 million people trading Bitcoin. Maybe you have 10 million people trading Bitcoin, and so that's why you have maybe 10 million of ledger, right? Of all these past records, and no one is able to change any of that history, any of that records, right? And the block, which is the ledger, is being synchronized through the cryptography, right? Meaning it's protected by the math mechanism, right? So a blockchain specialist is that those engineers that develop those networks and then link and synchronize those public distributed ledger, right? So to link all these ledgers, so the cryptocurrency can transact in that blockchain, in that crypto loop, right? So this is the meaning of developing a blockchain, right? So what is big blockchain? Blockchain is essentially a list of records. It's a list of distributed ledger. Okay, so everyone's accounts are synchronized, right? A pays B 1 Bitcoin, B pays C 1 Bitcoin, and that history cannot be altered, right? Okay, so now we understand this is the blockchain system, because you need these blockchain system to basically helps you decentralize from the bank and provide certain openness to your transaction. Okay, so now we move on to, we talk about Bitcoin as gold, right? So if that's a gold, you have to mine the gold mine, right? You have to go and dig some gold, and then you have to try to mine some Bitcoin out of that miner. So what you're going to do is that you're going to log in some of the websites, like for example, like MinerGate. Right? MinerGate is a website, that you have all these mining software. You can download all these mining software, and you mine those mining software. At the same time, you can maybe purchase some miners for yourself, right? Maybe and then you can link several miners, and you can mine some Ethereum, maybe Bitcoin Gold, and etc. Right? So then you become a miner. Anyone can become a miner. Anyone can distribute to the system. So that's the beauty of the Bitcoin system, right? So because anyone could be part of it, right? The bank and the central bank cannot, basically take huge advantage out of us. So we become if we become a miner, we have to pay a lot of expense on electricity, right? So a lot of people, we're talking about really powerful people individually, if they manage to build maybe a factory, electricity factories as facilities, maybe maybe near a waterfall, and then it gets to provide free electricity, so that makes their cost really low. And then with those mining machines, they'd be able to dig out more cryptos, they'd be able to supply that cryptocurrency to the market so people can trade, right? So the Bitcoin system, in the cryptocurrency system, you need to have a mining mechanism, because that mining mechanism gives scarcity, which gives the value of that currency, because it's a very necessary part of it. Okay, so if we look at the Bitcoin white paper, this is one of the Bitcoin white paper. You can see it here, Satoshi Nakamoto, and this paper was being released early on, and therefore you can see all the technology and those details inside of these white paper. Okay, you see the privacy mechanism, see the calculations and all of it here. Okay, so this is what is a white paper. White paper is essentially like a blueprint, right? So you look at this blueprint, and then you can create a a very similar cryptocurrency, and that's enable you to trade in an open market, right? So a lot of people use these white paper. A lot of software engineers, the engineers that created the Dogecoin and Dogecoin, and they're basically using all these white paper. So before, if they're gonna release cryptocurrency, they're gonna release a white paper as well. So that's the case. So in this video, we talk about some mechanism of Bitcoin. That Bitcoin gives you some advantage because first of all, your Bitcoin wallet is basically a very long line of number that makes you very difficult to be tracked or to be traced. That makes your account extremely difficult to get froze. The authority is difficult and nearly impossible to freeze your assets and your account. And also, if you want to make a transaction between A to B, it's a lot convenient. Think about this example. If you are in Thailand, right, you're trading like Thai baht, right, and then right now you have to make a payment to a friend in Canada, right? Maybe you have to pay him his debt. So you decided to make an international transaction that you need his SWIFT code to pay him. So that's the case. You need to pay that guy, and then you are paying for the currency spread. You pay for the commissions, and you pay for currency commissions. That makes the trade sort of very difficult. That you're paying excessive cost, right? You're paying excessive cost for each of the transaction, and then you have to wait for a couple of days. And RS and all these institutions will be looking at all your trades, if those trades are legit or not, if those trades have any sensitive movement or not, right? But with Bitcoin, you just easily transfer from address A to address B, right? Done. And then you can the B, maybe, even though maybe he's in the space, right? Maybe he's on Mars. You don't care. He just kind of received that Bitcoin, and then he used that Bitcoin to withdraw as different domestic currency, right? So he go to the supermarket, he sell his Bitcoin as maybe Canadian dollar, maybe, different currency. He's able to get away from the monetary censorship of the central bank and also the commercial bank system. So in this video, we talk about the basic concept of Bitcoin. It's a digital gold. It needs mining, right? It has a blockchain system, right? And it also has a white paper to ensure it's fully functioning. So in the next video, we're going to talk about a bit more details of this cryptocurrency. And so, people can actually learn and trade all these cryptocurrency, okay? Because cryptocurrency is difficult to stop or to be manipulated, but we need to be extremely aware because this market has a lot of con, and it has a lot of charlatan in this market. So please, if you like my video, like the content I'm sharing, please click the like button for me. Leave your comments below in the below sections, and please share this video to your friends so more people can understand about the basic concept of Bitcoin. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.